Good evening, everyone. I'll call this meeting of Lansdale Borough Council for March 1st to order. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent meditation? Roll call, please.
Leon Angelichio.
Present.
Denton Burnell.
Present.
Carrie Hawkins Charlton.
Present.
Rich DiGregorio Jr.
Here.
Mary Fuller.
Here.
Jack Hansen.
Here.
Stephen Malagari.
Present.
Jason Van Dane.
Here.
Tom Work.
Here.
Mayor G. Andrew Zeckley.
Mayor, you're here, right? Mayor G. I'm sorry, yeah. Okay. Let the record reflect that Mayor Zeckley is here. Okay. Thank you very much. We're going to dive right in because we are behind schedule, and I'm sure everyone doesn't want to be here all night. So take us out, Councilman Van Dame, Admin and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, we talked about the financial reports to date through the end of January. They're trending as normal. I asked John how he knew, since he's brand new. He compared them to last year's statistics. So it is early in the year, and all budgets are tracking normal. A couple items under old business. The single hauler trash removal update. Bid opening date had been pushed back to March 17th, so we didn't get a lot of information on that today. We'll hear more about that next month. We also talked about an application for the change in liability and property insurance carrier. We got all of our copies of all our current policies to Divot. And they're going to analyze them to look at what any penalties would be if we did opt to look into changing before the end of our current term with our current carrier. So we're waiting to hear back on those. Then we talked about the Act 172, just a little bit of information. We obtained a sample policy from a municipality that has put one into effect. So what we're going to do is get a copy of that to each council member. It certainly sounds like maybe they just kind of jumped out there with one. And I think there's actually an article in the Borough News regarding the Act 172 to get us some more information. But we are continuing to look into that. So everyone should look for that sample policy in the next couple of days. Under new business, we have a recommendation from the Police Pension Committee that we're going to bring to council to approve a draft of their investment policy. We're having that reviewed by our solicitor right now, so that will be based on his feedback. There's also some talk of perhaps changing the makeup of that committee. Currently, it consists of 4 residents, 2 police officers, and our finance director. They'd like to add a council member onto that committee, just so I guess one of us can represent there with the police pension committee. That's also something we're running through our solicitor, and we'll get more information on that for next month. Fire escape at 421 West Main Street is out to bid. Those bids are due in on March 17th. So look for that information next month. And then we had an item come up, I guess, on the social media, Citizens Facebook page. There's been some talk about a sign in town that has all the local organization banners that is getting pretty run down. A lot of them are outdated. So we are looking into ownership of that sign and what we can do to remedy that situation there, hopefully before the angry mob gets to it with its chainsaws on the 25th.
That's right.
Just be patient. We'll get the information.
Yeah, it's easier. Yeah. Then we had one other item under new business. 311 North Broad Street is a structure that's currently vacant. The organization that was running that is now defunct. Apparently, they had some county financing there. Anyway, the county has been willing to forego what the organization owes them in order to allow the current group that owns that building to sell it. They're in arrears to the borough for some money as well. The county has agreed to not demand their money back in a sale, and they're asking the borough to come and say that that's okay, that they do that. We're going to try to stand in line for what they owe us, but ultimately, we still think it's in our best interest to get that building sold and a active owner in that. So we're going to recommend that Mr. Ziegler attend an upcoming county commissioners meeting to approve what the county is asking to do with that building. Next up, we had a couple good recommendations. Then we went to the professional services report, and we got that review. Professional services, our solicitors and engineers got their updated forms in for what they're doing currently in the borough, so we got a review of them, and they should be available to all council members on your Dropbox. Public comment, we had a couple recommendations. One, as the committee makeup for the police pension we were talking about, a couple of those members will expire at the end of this month, and our new HR director has volunteered to get a reminder to the appointments chair a couple months ahead of terms expiring so that we can stay ahead of committee appointments. Another recommendation that we had was to look into a social media policy for elected officials. Resident, I guess, had some concerns about some comments made between elected officials on one of the Facebook pages. So we're going to ask our solicitor to see if there needs to be a policy for that. We also had a question about bills over 1,000 and it being hard to read sometimes on the agenda on the website. Is there a way we can make it clarify it? Can we put it up on the screen as we're approving it, or print out copies of the? So we're going to see if we can't make the print brighter on the website itself. We also had a request to put our agendas on our TV channels. So if that's a possibility, we'll try to get that into that rotation. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Van Dam. Do we have any questions?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Jason, could you, do you know, or could you tell us what would be the amount for 311 North Broad that they might be in arrears to the borough?
I think the number they said was about $16,400 that they're in arrears to the borough currently.
Do you know if that's strictly a tax burden, or is that electric and different fees, or is it just lumped together?
I would imagine it's a total of all the liabilities.
It's lien fees.
Sewer and electric?
Yeah.
No tax, no property tax?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How long was that building, has it been sitting vacant? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that. 2 years? 2 years I'm hearing from the background there.
I think it
My
would
earpiece,
be
about 2
very
years.
good to get out from under it and get somebody in there who is a tax-paying resident who will buy electricity.
Right. Yep.
Agreed. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Van Dam. We will move on. Code Enforcement and Land Planning, Councilman Angeliquio.
Thank you, Mr. President. We approved our minutes. We had some informational business items. I know it seems a little silly, but we talked about the guidelines for snow removal for your property. Not that it was worried about much this year. We also spoke about, we found a discrepancy in our fence permit fees. Currently, you can install a multitude of fences, but at the end of the day, a 6 and an 8 foot privacy fences. While there are certain guidelines, we found that the permit fee for the 8 foot fence is approximately 2 times the cost of the 6 foot fence, without an appreciable amount of additional work for the approval or investigation into putting a fence in. It was found that that's kind of an excessive cost. So we are going to, our committee voted to bring before council a revision to our fee for that fence fees, and you'll have an opportunity to read and discuss it. Our department statistics we went over, we have an approximate 60% increase in permits from this period last year, and a lot of that can be accounted for in Andale Green, a lot of electrical permits that we're catching up on. So it's an active and busy time in the borough, and a very active and busy time for John's department. Planning Commission update, Madison parking lot. On March 20th, Equus may be seeking their final land planning approval. On April 5th, they will come before the Code Committee. And April 19th or 20th, whatever the date is of our meeting, they may come before full council. Now, this is perfect world dates that this could be accelerating moving through. Once they get their final land planning, the project should, could, and would move a little bit quicker. 3rd and Walnut. I know this is a hotbed issue with parking, and a lot of people have vested interest in this. What we did discuss was no formal applications have been submitted for this project. This is discussion. It has only gone before the zoning hearing board for relief parking requirements and as such. So there is a lot more discussion to have of the merits and benefits and downfall of this project as it could affect the borough and its residents. Our old business, we spoke a little bit about the medical marijuana ordinances, and there is a draft ordinance that will be in the Dropbox for review. This is a coming industry. There has been, John, if I'm not mistaken, you said there's been a fair amount of interest in the borough because we are being progressive with this for the possibility of dispensaries. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of things that have to happen first. We spoke a little bit about accessory building definitions, wireless communications, right-of-way, and Habitat for Humanity. Applications are due by March 15th for 2017. This program can benefit people who are in need with some assistance for sprucing up or fixing up a property. It's a fantastic program. I've seen there's been a few of the items on TV that you see what these programs do for people. So if you know a friend, somebody that could use a little help, have them fill out the application. There is help out there to assist people in beautifying their property. New business, we thought we might discuss a little bit about the parking issues occurring at West 6th Street. However, I'd like to thank the chief for handling all of the heated discussion, and I think we dodged a bullet on that one in code. So, Chief, thank you. And the zoning hearing board meeting for March 21st has been canceled. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions for code enforcement? Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving on, Communications Commission and Councilwoman Hawkins Charlton.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Our next meeting is scheduled for April, but we did have a great executive civics class last night with the police department. I just wanted to give a special shout out to Detective Chad Bruckner, Sergeant Michael Trail, and Joe Greco. I'm not sure if his detective. Okay. They were wonderful. We had a great event. 15 residents. We had approximately five teenagers that came along. It was a really great event. Our next one is judicial, which is March 28th at Judge Ed Levine's District Court over on Pembroke Parkway. If anybody's interested, you could email me at chawkins@lansdale.org or tflynn@lansdale.org. We'd get you on the list. So.
Thank you very much. Any questions for ComCom? I was lucky enough to attend last night. I have to say, it's a great program. I wish more people were interested in our legislative portion of it, but certainly well attended at the police department. They do a great job. It was a fantastic tour. So thank them very much. And thank you for leading the charge with that. All right. EDC, Economic Development, Councilman Van Dam.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did not meet this month, so I don't have a report.
Bummer. All right. You got that on tape, right? Okay. Moving right along, Electric Committee, Councilman Di Gregorio.
Thank you, Mr. President. The minutes were approved 3-0. Committee business items. The first was the GIS substation inventory upgrade. The GIS department has worked to upgrade the information and make the substation map on our website user-friendly with over 3,000 views. This has been a great tool for both staff and public. I personally been on it too, and it's nice to see what we have, our infrastructure with our electric, and I think our borough is really trying to, like you said, make it user-friendly, so the residents can get a better idea of what we're paying for, what our usage, and if they have questions, they can come to our committee and we can answer questions, which would be great. Next would be the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission LED update. The Borough has finalized the bill of material, sent to Johnson Controls, and we hope to have the material in April and start installation with the lamps at that time. Next would be the Next Era Conference update. This presentation was a big hit in the Power Summit. Multiple municipalities were in contact both electric and GIS departments and most information feedback. The Next Era is impressed how we came so far and thanked our two, Andy and also Justin, being down there. What we were talking about our committee, they had a great experience down there. A lot of people learned a lot of stuff about Lansdale and how we're on how our GIS department has really been a help for our borough. Next would be the Green Light Grant update. The project is moving forward with the first step of being correct issues of all the signals included with this project. The match would be $185,000 for our contribution. Next would be the fiber optic progress. The borough is actually on the final stages of finishing up, and hopefully by the end of March, the fiber will be finished up to the Park and Rec building. Finally, the Irby mobile testing in March. Irby's Electrical Supply is now offering a dielectric testing for the line department. Basically, there's a mobile testing outfit that come out and test all the gear for the linemen's tools and safety equipment. For example, the rubber gloves, the hot sticks. So they actually come on site and actually do it overnight. So instead of sending stuff out to get done, they come to us, and it's very convenient and very efficient. And also, they are actually teaming up with, we're actually teaming up with other municipalities. So they are hitting Lansdale, then Quakertown or Percy. So they're doing a whole eastern area for us, and we're getting a good money for. We're actually spending good money on this because it's cheaper for all the municipalities to consort together to get this stuff done. And the bottom line is it's safety. So our guys need to have safety equipment, and this is something we need to do all the time. And that is in my, that is in my report. Any questions?
Yeah, just one, Rich. On the Green Light Go grant, you said our match is 185. What's the total grant?
I have to talk to Andy for the total grant.
Yeah, it's roughly around 250,000.
That is the total grant with our match, or our match plus the 250?
I think that's the total.
Okay.
grant.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Electric?
So I did understand that correctly. Most of that grant, most of that project it's a match on, like, an opposite of what we usually do, right? Did I get that right? Okay.
Thanks. Anyone else? Electric? All right. Thank you very much. Library Committee, Vice President Fuller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finally, we have a report, although it feels like it happened very long ago. Our budget is tracking normally. Again, we're just a couple months into the year, so that should be standard. Mike Sobel came and visited our group. You know his programs have been very popular. He's done World War I, World War II, and I believe the Korean War. And so he's glutton enough for punishment to come back and do another 10-part series. This one will be the 60s in Vietnam. So we will do 10 weeks of Mike Sobel beginning in June. So it'll run from June 8th to September 14th, not every week, and we'll have the dates listed so I don't have to go through them here. They are all Thursday nights. They'll be at 7 p.m. And in addition to Vietnam, he will touch on topics that include music, politics, space race, and other events from the 60s. So if you've ever been to any of his sessions, they're very fun, they're very informative. He does a great job, and he just offers this as a service to borough residents or anybody who stops in the library. We also, in addition to scheduling Mr. Sobel, we did go through our yearly events calendar so we can begin planning for them. So our dates in 2017 are as follows. International Spring Festival is April 22nd. Our Clean and Green extravaganza will be July 15th. We'll do Oktoberfest with an international flair on October 14th. And trivia night on November 11th. Again, the library will host a beer garden on Founders Day, which, if you hadn't heard this year, is August 26th. And although we will likely adjust the times and start that piece earlier this year. So we had a little talk about how we can improve the beer garden. Although it was very successful, we keep improving it is like more beer and longer hours, I guess, but all to benefit the library, so that's awesome. We are looking to schedule a test drive fundraiser with Bergey's Ford, so we will see, or maybe even Tesla and King of Prussia, so we'll keep everybody posted. That could be an interesting fundraiser. Under old business, we haven't taken inventory of the furniture yet that we want to replace, although there's money for that in the budget. We'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, we are looking to purchase a bike rack and possible whiteboard. We had to change our meeting date for March. We will be meeting not on Monday, March 6th, but we will instead be meeting on Wednesday, March 8th. If there's hot stuff on the Parking Authority agenda, we'll hustle through library, so everybody is welcome to make both. And that ends my library report.
Any questions for, yes, sir?
Just one, Mary, just so I know. When Mike Sobel is going to do the 60s in the Vietnam event, what's the dates on that? I missed it.
It starts June 8th is the first one. The last one is September 14th. I can email you all the dates if you like. I just, instead of reading 10 dates, I thought that'd be, it's roughly every other week.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for library? Nope. Okay. Keep on moving, Parks and Rec.
Thanks. So coming before council in 2 weeks will be the annual request from St. John's for their Easter sunrise service in Whites Road Park. This will be roughly the 36th year this has come before us, and the Parks and Rec Committee, of course, approved to recommend that to come to full council. They're looking to use the park from 6:30 to 9 a.m. in the morning. Hopefully there will be a sunrise, and that will be on Easter Sunday, April 16th. We also approved and will move before council the use of Railroad Plaza by Discover Lansdale for First Friday events from May through December in 2017. Spring and summer program activities are getting underway or being scheduled, including Pysanky and gardening. They're the first two up. And, of course, the Whites Road series and summer programming is almost finalized and will be so soon. So don't forget Tuesday nights in the summer at Whites Road Park. Maintenance activities, because the weather has been so cooperative, the department has gotten a jump start on preseason prep on baseball fields and such. We're starting to look at getting the pools ready and seeing what kind of additional landscaping and tree planting we may do. We're also going to look at enhancing the lighting in the amphitheater area at Whites Road Park by the time the concerts end and everybody is wrapping up, particularly the performers and staff. It's 11 o'clock and pretty dark, so we'll be taking a look at that. Budget, of course, is, again, we're still early in the year, but it's tracking normally for this year. Something that the committee approved and may come before council if necessary is establishing a special group rate for at the pools for local groups. When Toa-Mensen when there was a possibility that pool wasn't going to open, Lansdale was contacted by several user groups about possibilities. So we thought we'd get ahead of the game, even though now that pool will be open, and we're glad for that. We still have 2 pools. Our swim lesson program is cutting back to 4 days instead of 5, so we would have Friday mornings and other times that pools could be available for group use. We're looking at $7 per child, 6 and above, and $5 for children 2 to 5. We will establish minimum numbers in group because we don't want to pay more for staff than actual group use. So Carl will do some more work on that, and we'll get that forward as necessary. What will come before council in 2 weeks is Parks and Rec recommendation that we select Grace Industries. We award the bid for the Andale Green leg of the Liberty Bell Trail, part of the DVRPC grant. We award that to Grace Industries. The grant is, or the bid came in at $262,074. Our match for that is $31,000 and change. So we will be awarding that bid upon council's approval. The next leg, of course, will be from Broad Street and Freight Station. That's where this leg will end. The grandstand, Memorial Park grandstand bids have come in. And actually, I shouldn't say bids, I should say bid. One outfit bid. It was McCarthy Masonry. This is a company we've worked with before and have been pleased with their work. They're based out of Quakertown. They actually did work in Railroad Plaza. And their bid came in below our estimate. So Chris Fazio, our borough engineer, will be checking out the numbers, and barring anything that doesn't appear right to him, the Parks and Rec Committee is recommending that we award the bid to McCarthy Masonry and suggest that council do the same. We are in the final stages of our park bench sponsor donation program. In fact, we're ready to roll out the residential part to that. If family or if families want to honor or memorialize or just simply sponsor a bench. They can sponsor a bench or buy a bench. Sponsoring a bench would include putting a plaque on. So we have a whole set of guidelines what the cost would be. We've done research, as I've said, on what kind of park benches should be in which parks, and plaques that would also be, aesthetically in line with everything else that's in the park. So we're ready to roll that out, and we'll see how that goes. We are working on a commercial piece. The cost will be higher if we allow commercial outfits to sponsor a bench. The lifespan will be shorter. It'll be for a shorter amount of time and likely at a larger cost because they will be advertising. So we still have some more work to do on that. We're not ready to roll that out yet. We'll bring that to council when we do. And then the last item on our agenda was the skate park, and we listened to public comment again, and I'm suspecting, and we enjoy it, we'll hear more, but the committee did recommend unanimously to use 4th Street, to select 4th Street as the site for the skate park. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice President Fuller. Any questions for Parks and Rec?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
Yeah, I attended the meeting Monday evening. I thought it was quite informative about the skate park. And I listened to the people that were here. I didn't make a lot of comment or any comment because I wanted to hear how people felt about it. After I left, I went home and I mulled over what I had heard. And I heard there was a few people that live in close proximity to where the skate park would be located who said they want the skate park at 4th Street. But then I thought there's 99 people who live in close proximity to it who signed a petition, and they said they don't want the skate park in their neighborhood, and they came up with many, many good reasons. It troubles me that the Parks and Rec Committee would go against the will of a majority of the people that spoke up at that meeting, because we're here to serve the people. There are other locations in the borough where this could go, and I think if we look into them and investigate them, we'll find some very good alternatives. So I just wanted to say that it troubles me that it's going to be brought forth with a unanimous decision to go to 4th Street.
I will say we, as a committee, believe we are serving the will of the people. May not be the 90 people who signed the petition, and if you take out, they're not all in close proximity. In fact, several of the names on the list didn't even live in the ward. So we have to take into consideration we serve 16,000 people, and so no matter where we move it and put it, I think we'll hear much of the same thing. So I don't think, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think we disregarded it. We didn't disregard the fact that we serve people, and we looked at, and we've been through it. We have looked at the 4 sites we were given. We graded them on criteria we were given, not criteria that we made up, and that's how we scored it. We have promised the neighbors that we will share our score sheets with them so they can see how we rated each site and in each category and what numbers were assigned to those.
If I could add to that, I don't think we did discount the petition. I think we took that very seriously. We did look into that. Yes, there was 99 signatures on that, representing, I think by my count, 64 properties. Again, some not in that area, but the vast majority of them in that neighborhood. When you look at that neighborhood, there's close to 200 properties. So it's not quite the majority of the properties. Now, I understand you don't get everybody to answer your door, but they also didn't put anything on the, they didn't put anything down about the people that supported it. So I walked through that neighborhood. I spent a little over 2 hours there the other day. I got through about 15 houses. 9 people were at the door, answered the door, and I had some good conversations. And I asked them, I showed them the location that we were talking about, a potential, a concept plan of a skate park, and asked them what their opinion was. 4 of them supported the park in 4th Street Park. 3 of them opposed it, and 2 of them reserved their opinion. And these were houses up 4th Street and along Edgewood, right at the park. I didn't get into, my time is limited like everybody else's, and it would be great to be able to spend more time there talking to people. Of the homes in the Williamson Court development, I think there was 22 properties represented out of the 58 that are in that property. At our various meetings that we've taken the time to have the community and to talk about it, there's surprisingly been, people from that community here that supported it. As you know, the issues that come here, the people that show up are almost always the ones that are against something. It's pretty rare that people show up to support something because they think, well, good, something's going to happen. So it was interesting to see the turnout in support of the project the other night. We all would like to be able to please everybody, and that's not always the case. So I stepped back and I looked and I said, where does this park serve the most residents? We could cite it somewhere that wouldn't affect as many homeowners, but then there also wouldn't be as many families that would go there because they need the variety of activities for the younger kids and the older kids. And, that was one of my primary considerations. 4th Street is a borough-owned property. It's a borough park. It's to serve all our residents. We would like it to be a busy park. So that's, a lot of the things that we took into consideration. We definitely did not discount the petition. We looked at their issues. A lot of their issues are pre any skate park, and there are issues that need to be addressed whether there's a skate park there or not, and a lot of their issues are kind of assumptions of what could happen with a skate park. That's something I think that we all need to consider. It's an underserved population in our community that people are always asking, what can our teens do? Where can they go? And I think it's time we step up and give them a worthy place.
I truly appreciate your diligence going out and speaking to the people that live in the area. I've done that many times. I think every one of us that sits here has done that many, many times. When you talk about another site where people wouldn't use it, I don't believe that's so. I believe that if it was to be moved to one of the other sites that was proposed, people would go there. People would get there. If the kids want to use it, they're going to use it. There were some people that were here the other night who are not kids, who are skateboarders. And I want to make it on record. I am 100% in favor of a skate park in Lansdale to help all the residents. I believe that if we were to go to another site, and I was not part of the selection committee, so I have my own choices as to the other sites, but I think if it is put there, it's going to help develop those areas as well. 4th Street is a very beautiful area. It's green open space, and that is very, very limited here in the borough. We're losing open space all the way around. We're losing a Madison parking lot to development. So if we can keep open space, green space, that is something that I'm in favor of. And if we can take a spot that has not been developed that way and develop it and make it into a beautiful park, I think it would be an asset to the borough rather than a liability. But I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've done.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Parks and Rec? All right, thank you very much. We'll move right on. Public Safety, Councilman Work.
Thank you, Mr. President. An eventful night in public safety. Under old business, we approved the minutes of the February meeting. We then had a brief update on the commercial vehicle parking ordinance. That ordinance, or the draft of the updated ordinance, has been returned by the solicitor. We approved to move on to council to then subsequently approve to prepare and advertise the ordinance to rescind and then replace with the new and updated ordinance. Under new business, we approved 3 events. Lansdale Farmers Market that will start on Saturday, May 20th and run through Saturday, December 23rd. The Manna 5K race, which will be held Saturday, April 1st from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then First Fridays, which will begin May through November of 2017. And then lastly, I can confirm, Mr. Angelico, that yes, we did take one for the team this evening in public safety. We had what I would describe as a very healthy discussion with the residents at 6th Street, on 6th Street, concerning parking issues there that are relative to increased traffic, and also what I would guess is due to the project at Elm Terrace. We do have a couple action items for the committee, things that we're going to try to do to resolve the problem. So I don't think this will be the last that we'll hear of that. And of course, anything else that comes out of committee regarding this, I will report at a later date. So that ends my report. Oh, okay. Let me correct myself. It's on the paperwork, but we did not approve First Fridays. We are waiting for, correct me if I'm wrong, we're waiting for the special ordinance application to be finalized. It's been submitted?
It's almost complete.
Okay, it's almost complete.
Is there any reason to think you won't approve?
No,
Okay.
no, we could have,
Paperwork.
we could have approved to save the date. We decided because of timing that we have the time to be able to wait until the application is completed, and we'll just finalize that approval to move on. So now my report is done.
Now your report is actually completed. Thank you. It was still probably the shortest one of the evening, other than EDC. Any questions for Mr. Work? All right, thank you very much. And taking us home, Public Works, Councilman Maligari.
Thank you, Mr. President. After approving our minutes, we jumped right into our business items. The 2016 roadway and utility rehabilitation project that's on Crestview, that's including Durstein and the Force Main. SJM is continuing work on Crestview Road due to good weather conditions, thankfully. They should be finishing up there within the next 1 to 1.5 weeks. We then discussed, and the reason why they did a little bit more work is they actually started finishing up the curbs and sidewalks up there, and then they'll start moving to Durstein and to the rest of the project. The next thing we spoke about was the leaf vacuum truck. That came up last month. A resident had asked us to look into it. They said, why don't we look into getting a leaf vacuum truck to suck up leaves off the curb rather than having residents have to bag them and move them to the curb 25 to 30 each fall. So we looked into it. We received 3 different quotes back, ranging from trucks that you would pull, vacuums that would attach to a truck with a cap on top. Anyway, they ranged from numbers of $42,000 to $30,000. Regardless of that, though, the cost can be adjusted. There are other pieces of equipment that would be needed as well. One of the things is, if we went that route, we would have to come up with an area to compost the leaves. DEP would have to come out and inspect the site. There'd be needed a pit for drainage, all sorts of different things. So there are a few boroughs that we reached out to that actually do this practice, Conshohockins being one of them, Percy, Telford. Conshohocken does have a leaf pickup program. It's one time in the fall. They post on social media when they do it. There was another borough that said that the residents just know when to put their leaves out. I don't really trust that. They just know. I guess it's some collective thing. I'm not sure. In any case, it does take up a lot of time during the fall. Some of the boroughs actually had 4 to 6 weeks worth of time of collection in the fall, and they have flyers explaining like what day in a particular section. We have that now for our leaf collection system that we currently have. So one of the recommendations that came up in our committee was possibly to see if we could outsource all of it and have a full borough-wide collection program of a leaf sucking truck. And see if there's a larger company that might do it. However, at the same rate, I brought up the potential for us to maybe just rent one for a week, do a small pilot in a couple difficult areas or areas that would be representative of the entire borough. Williamson Square would be out of that because I think you have your own contracted services. You're lucky. But if we could at least try it out and see what happens, so we're going to look and see if we can get some rental prices as well. So we're looking into a lot of it, and nothing has been finalized. But I know that there are some older residents that don't like having to haul those big bags of leaves that get filled and wet and rained on and break. And Councilman Hansen's raising his hand, and Ms. Zellers as well. So and I'll tell you that this past year, I mean, I think I had 30 some bags of leaves, and it rained on them a lot. So I think all of us are in the same boat, with the exception of a few in the committee who may not care in bagging their leaves. But I'm sure Councilman Work would like to get rid of that duty. In any case, more to come with that. So we're still in the very early stages of that. Next, we talked about the Napa Road Bridge. Councilman Hansen brought this up last month, asking for us to re-look at what the signage is doing, directing people over to a bridge in Wissahickon Park for people to walk across. There are signs posted. I was there on President's Day. I parked my car on Valley Stream Road and Valley Brook. I'm sorry. Where the school entrance is. Walked across the bridge, walked across that sidewalk, and then I started my timer at the next corner, walked all the way down to the path, and then come all the way around back to my car. It took about 6 minutes of a walk to do that. And what we as a committee will do is we're going to look at the report again from Remington, Vernon, and Beach and see if there's anything in there that we could do to bolster that section of roadway, or look at the striping. Or one of the ideas came up is maybe we could add marking on the sidewalk itself, almost like follow the trail to the walking bridge type thing. So there will be more to come with that next month. Next, we spoke about patch paving. Yes, it's that time of the year again. We're talking about road paving again, my favorite topic. We're putting together a list of roads for our patch paving program using our GIS system. And in addition to that, we're starting to compile the list of roads that are really bad. And then we'll have some more coming up. So hopefully in April, we'll be able to go out to bid for that. As far as the wastewater treatment plant, the Merck update, 10.2 million gallons have been sent to us in January from Merck. That averages out to about 330,000 gallons per day. We had a Clean Water Partnership meeting that was canceled, actually. It was rescheduled due to the snow that fell, the one snowstorm that we got this year. It's rescheduled for March 9th at 8:30 in the morning in Upper Dublin. And finally, we talked about an easement with Abington Lansdale Hospital for the Ridge Street force main. And I want to ask Jake to extrapolate a little bit on that if you can.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Malagari. Just a little background, okay, as we were evaluating our infrastructure needs, specifically one of the things that we were looking at because of its age was the Ridge Street pumping station, okay, and along with that, the force main that conveys the sewage out of the pumping station. What we did discover is that both the pumping station and the force main, while they were installed and owned by Lansdale Borough, they are actually, as the hospital was, their ground was conglomerated and configured, okay, we found out that the both of those facilities are physically located, in the property owned by the hospital. Hospital has no interest in the force main or the pumping station. They've agreed to work with us, okay, as far as granting us an easement for for the location of the force main. We've gone back to our engineers, Remington Vernick. Okay, they've taken a look at it, developed the description for an easement. We've gone back and forth with the hospital. They've basically agreed to the terms of the easement. Okay, and so we've brought that forward to. We just basically got that late this afternoon, so we're bringing it to the committee. One of the things that it's not there's a little bit of time sensitivity to it in that one of the things that we would like to do is get the force main underneath Broad Street prior to the state coming in and repaving Broad Street. So we're bringing that, recommending that comes forward as a motion, okay, to enter into the easement agreement with the hospital for us to, install new force main out there. We shouldn't, we will keep the residents notified. The location of this is to the rear of Oak Drive, okay, basically from Ridge Street out to crossing Broad Street and then going down Hatfield Street, okay. So we will keep the residents informed as we start working through the process. What you would likely see first, okay, and that's also a part of the project that we have ongoing with SJM and the the Crestview project, okay. Part of that project is to install the force main underneath the roadway of Broad Street. So, with us being obtaining and acting on this easement, that should facilitate that process so that we'd be able to get ultimately get the whole force main installed, but initially get the portion that lies directly under Broad Street, get that done first.
Thanks, Jake. And to wrap up my report, we actually did vote unanimously to bring that easement forward for council's approval in our meeting in 2 weeks. Our budget is tracking fine. We didn't have any old business or new business. We did have one member of the public, and we actually did have some discussion on the leaf vacuum truck as well. And that concludes my report if there aren't any questions.
So I'd like to be the first to volunteer my neighborhood to host the pilot program because I am lazy. My question would be, with the leaf vacuum truck, does it in any way affect or contribute to any of the MS4 guidelines?
That question was asked, and Dan isn't here to speak to that, but Jake, maybe you have some insight into that.
Well, it would be certainly something that we would submit, as part of it. Okay, obviously, one of the main goals of the MS4 program is to cut down on the amount of sediment that, is going into our streams. Okay, and anything that we could do along this line. Okay, now, in all honesty, we are already, not vacuuming up the leaves, but we're picking up the leaves. So we've taken that credit. So I can't think that they would give us, an extreme amount of more credit for that.
Crestview Road, you say will be finished in 1 to 1.5 weeks. When do we estimate final paving?
Residents have until the end of June to have their curbs and sidewalks done, and paving, once all the curbs and sidewalks are finished, and if there are any residents that don't do it, we have to do it. Once that is completed, before the fall, we should have final paving done.
Oh, I can't wait. Also, do we have Columbia Avenue on our schedule to go out there and work on that?
I haven't seen it on a schedule.
Okay.
What part of Columbia?
What section of Columbia?
The first section over here where it's so rough. I don't even know the...
Off of Susquehanna.
But I'll get the numbers for you.
Okay.
Probably the 200 block,
Yeah,
maybe?
somewhere around there.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions for Public Works down this end? All right, thank you very much. Announcements to my left. Anyone announcements? Mr. Angelico.
Get a flu shot if you haven't had one yet. The flu is miserable,
Good advice.
and if you have to deal with it, as I have in the past 2 weeks, just get a flu shot.
Get as many flu shots as you can. All right. Anyone else to my left? Anyone to my right? Nobody. All right. All right. Public comment on any work session agenda item. Anybody? Mr. Silfies.
Hi there. Most of you have been here since the beginning of the work session for Parks and Rec. So my name is Alan Silfies, and I live on Edgewood Avenue. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Hanson, Councilman Hanson, for his questioning and his observations. Certainly hit the nail on the head regarding the skate park at 4th Street. I would, perhaps the council is aware of this, but today Workers for the Borough put some temporary stakes in the general area of 4th Street that's being considered for the skate park. We thought the idea was not great, and of course we've been attending all the meetings to voice our opinions. When these stakes went in today, it's even worse than we could have ever imagined it. I recommend, suggest, ask not only the members of council, but other interested people that are here to take a drive over to 4th Street and park in the parking lot and walk over and look at the 4 stakes that are placed there with little yellow bands on them. And then stand there and consider that you owned one of the homes, perhaps at Williamson Court, with your deck and your patio and 10,000 square feet of concrete right there. Day after day after day after day. I think your impression of what could happen may, well, I'm not going to say what. I have one more comment, and that is the committee has used the Ambler Skate Park as an example of the positive effect of the skate park. I personally visited, as some of the council people have and other people here in attendance have. I visited that skate park on days that was sunny when you'd expect people to be using it. And of course, young people were using it. My point of comment is the fact that there's an illusion that the Ambler Skate Park is at a very accessible area of the borough. It absolutely is. It's about 5 blocks from the Ambler train station. One of the points that has been brought up many times by the Parks and Rec Committee is that they did not want to put the Lansdale Skate Park in an out-of-the-way place. What they failed to tell everyone is that the Ambler Skate Park and the Ambler Park right there is about a block from the borough line. Accessible, yes. In the center of things, no. Is it a plus? Yes. Do people go there? Yes. As Mr. Hanson so eloquently said, you build it, they'll go there. It does not necessarily mean it has to be at 4th Street. You can, again, quoting Mr. Hanson, you can make other areas quite beautiful with $500,000, which has been allocated for this project. And I'm sure there's other areas in the borough that would be a very positive impact in that area. And one of the other comments that's been made about the 4th Street is that it's an active park. 4 of the sites that were looked at, 2 of them were active, 2 were passive. And may I remind everyone that historically, all the properties that Lansdale owns and has created parks at one time were passive, except possibly White's Road. As the Lansdale Historic Society has so eloquently shown previously, how the park looked back in the early 1900s. So using a passive park and creating an active park is something that Lansdale has done repeatedly and repeatedly. It is not an overwhelming issue that's the reason 4th Street should be chosen. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, can I just make one quick comment on that? I grew up in Ambler. I moved to Lansdale over 30 years ago. I was there when Judge Knight was still alive, whom that park is named after because his home was there. That was not a nice area of Lansdale, or Ambler, excuse me. It was not a nice area of Ambler, but Ambler Borough spent years and developed that into a nice area. And they deserve a lot of credit. And with everything that I said earlier, I'm not going to get back into that. I think we could develop a wonderful area in the borough as well.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Anyone else in the public? Yep, hey, Paul. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't want to keep reiterating the same things, but I do want to just emphasize that the opinions that have come out and the people who have come out, I've heard the statement that, well, if you're for something, you don't come out, it's only the people against. And I've made the same comment on TripAdvisor. It's all the negative people who have something to say. I don't 100% agree with that in this case. I think if you want something, you do come out. And I think yesterday we saw people come out who did want the skate park. So I think that was because word had gotten out that the people that were against the skate park had been coming out. They've been coming out since October. They've been attending these meetings. They're here again tonight. And again, there were very minimal people here, if any, that are for the park. I think that's because they were very encouraged by what happened in yesterday's meeting. And I think that's really the reason why they haven't come out, is because they feel like it's kind of not going to happen. So I don't think that that's as true. We shouldn't focus on that. I do also think that there is a larger number of people who are around that neighborhood. We've talked about the petitions. We've talked about the 99 petitions. 99 people, and we've said that there's a couple people who are not on that, and Mary, you've said a couple times, like, well, a couple are not on that who signed it, but I don't want to disregard those people, because we're not disregarding the people who are outside the ward who are all in favor of it. So I think that's still just as important. But I think the people there, I think clearly, and Jason, you've said, you gave your numbers, but you had 4 and 3 and 2. There's a good number of people who are around that park who are not in favor. And in the end, those are the people who are going to be the most impacted. We can talk about all the people in the borough who this is going to be positive for. It's positive for them no matter where it is, but it's really negative for the people who it's going to be there. And so really, I think you need to give more importance to the people who are coming out and saying, this could have a negative effect on me. Because in the end, it's going to be ours. We're the ones who are going to have it, whether it works or doesn't work. And if there are locations that impacts less, we looked at the maps, we looked at the distance from houses, but one of the things I pointed out yesterday is that sometimes the distances might be the same or less, but it's the distances to more homes versus less homes. I think we've also talked about the fact that, is it in a remote place? And I think remote place is very deceiving, because 4th Street is remote to people who are on the other side of the borough. And 9th Street is not remote to the people who live near 9th Street, which happens to be where the current skate park community is located. So I think calling something in a remote place, again, 9th Street is by the ball fields. If the ball fields have been in a remote place all this time, or people have said it's dangerous, well, then we've been putting all the little leaguers, and we were there for many, many years without a problem. So And again, if it is something that needs to be developed further, better, a gentleman made a statement yesterday that in the end, if we improve the borough with a skate park, it's going to be good for everybody. Well, better to improve an area that needs improvement than 4th Street Park, which doesn't necessarily need the improvement. So I think that those are all things that the rest of the council should take into consideration. Again, I think there's very few, I don't think there's any of the people who have been coming out against this location who are against the skate park improving Lansdale Borough. It's purely the location and the fact that it's going to impact so many residents when there could be areas that don't impact as many residents. So, thank you.
Paul, before you step down,
Sure.
can you just, your full name and address for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. Paul
It's okay.
Cuttajar, 504 East 5th Street.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Do I have anyone else this evening? Andy Kraus, come to the microphone, please.
I guess we need public comment, right? The end of the Are you arrested?
I'm not. I was for a very long time, though. Born and raised here. Thanks, Leon. What, are you trying to throw me under the bus? If I may, Mr. President, I'd just like to clarify some numbers for Councilman Hanson and Vice President Fuller. We had said in the $250,000 range. That was incorrect. So it's roughly a 50-50 match. The borough was awarded $185,500, and our match is $185,000. So the project totaling roughly $370,000 for the Green Light Go grant. So just didn't want you to be misinformed on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. They were all afraid you were going to comment on the skate park.
Can I?
Any other, one sec, any other public at all? All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank the persistence of the community at 4th Street. You're very well spoken. You know, you've been respectful, and I appreciate that even when we haven't agreed. And you bring up great points, and no matter which way this falls, we all live in the borough together. I'd like to be a good neighbor with you and, you know, work together to make the borough a better place. So thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's nothing further, we are adjourned.